Commander Zevix stared at the display screen with all four of his eyes. The numbers made no sense. His clawed hand reached across the control panel and tapped the sensor reset button 3 times. The readings remained the same. "Sir, the anomaly is still there," his sensor officer reported. Her voice trembled slightly. "It's getting closer." Zevix had served in the Kaltharan Imperial Fleet for 30 standard years. He had seen asteroid impacts, rogue planets, and even the death of a star. But he had never seen anything like this. The energy signature on his screen was impossible. Nothing in known space could generate that much power. "How big is it?" Zevix asked. The sensor officer checked her instruments twice before answering. "Sir, it's massive, roughly 8 kilometers long. The energy output it's equal to our entire home sun." A cold feeling spread through Zevix's chest. 8 kilometers. The largest Kaltharan battleship was barely 2 kilometers long, and no ship should radiate that much energy. It would tear itself apart. "Where did it come from?" Zevix demanded. "Did we detect a warp signature? A dimensional tear? Anything?" "No, sir. It just appeared. One moment our sensors showed empty space. The next moment it was there." That was impossible. Every ship in the galaxy used some form of faster-than-light travel. All of them left detectable traces. Warp drives bent space and created gravity waves. Dimensional jumps left tears in reality that took hours to close. Portal technology created energy spikes visible from light years away. But this ship appeared from nowhere with no warning at all. "Try to contact it," Zevix ordered. "All frequencies, universal translator active." His communications officer worked quickly. Radio waves, laser pulses, gravitational signals, even psychic broadcasts went out toward the mysterious vessel. For several long minutes, there was only silence. Then the communications console lit up with activity. "Sir, we're receiving a transmission, but the universal translator is having trouble with it. The language is completely unknown. It's not in any database from the past 10,000 years. Play what you can understand," Zevix said. The speakers crackled. Strange sounds filled the bridge unlike anything Zevix had ever heard. They were harsh, sharp, with odd rhythms. But then the universal translator caught certain words and displayed them on the screen. Humanity, diplomatic mission, Terra, peaceful intentions, request information, Earth. Zevix felt his primary heart skip a beat. Humanity, Terra, Earth. He accessed the Imperial database with frantic movements. His search came back empty. No species called humanity, no planet called Terra or Earth. Nothing. In 10,000 years of galactic exploration, the Kaltharan Empire had catalogued every intelligent species in 2,000 star systems. They knew every language, every culture, every world. How could an entire species be unknown to them? How could a species with this level of technology be unknown? "Alert Imperial Command immediately," Zevix ordered. "Maximum priority. Unknown vessel in Imperial space. Unknown species. Possible threat level critical." His crew moved with practiced efficiency. Within minutes, the message was racing toward the Imperial capital at faster-than-light speeds. Zevix knew what would happen next. The Emperor would convene his war council, the admirals would argue, the scientists would debate, and eventually they would send orders. But that would take hours. Right now, Zevix had to make decisions. "Tactical, what are our options?" he asked. The tactical officer examined his displays. "Sir, we have 6 patrol ships in this sector. Combined firepower of 200 plasma cannons and 50 missile tubes. We could form a defensive perimeter." "Do it, but do not fire unless fired upon. Understood? This might be a first contact situation. We don't want to start a war." "Yes, sir." The 6 Kaltharan patrol ships moved into formation. They were small, fast vessels designed for border security. Against pirates or smugglers, they were more than adequate. Against this unknown ship, Zevix suspected they would be useless. For 3 hours, the mysterious vessel simply drifted through space. It maintained its course toward the inner systems, toward the Imperial capital. It ignored all attempts at communication. It showed no signs of aggression, but it also showed no signs of stopping. Then Zevix's console chimed with an incoming transmission from Imperial Command. He expected orders to engage or retreat. What he received instead made his blood run cold. All ships in Sector 774 are ordered to maintain observation distance. Do not engage. Repeat. Do not engage. Imperial Fleet 1 is being mobilized. 500 warships will arrive in your sector within 6 hours. Emperor Kalth VII will personally oversee this situation. The Empire is now at War Alert Level 2. 500 warships. The largest military deployment in over a century. The Emperor himself taking command. War Alert Level 2 meant the entire Empire was preparing for potential invasion. Zevix looked at his displays again. The unknown vessel continued its steady approach. It wasn't accelerating. It wasn't powering weapons, it was just there. Moving forward with calm certainty, as if it owned the space it traveled through. "Sir," his sensor officer said quietly, "I'm detecting something else. The ship is scanning us, not with active sensors. Something else, it's like it's reading our very thoughts through the machinery." "That's impossible," Zevix said, but even as he spoke, he knew that word had lost all meaning today. On his screen, the mysterious human warship grew larger, and somewhere in the darkness of space aboard that vessel, Commander Zevix knew that other beings were looking back at him. Beings called humans, beings from a place called Earth, and the galaxy would never be the same. Humanity's forgotten past captain, Sarah Chen, stood on the bridge of the UESS Indomitable and studied the alien ships on her tactical display. 6 small vessels arranged in a defensive formation. Weapons powered but not targeting. Classic intimidation posture. "Commander Williams, status report," she said calmly. Her first officer looked up from his console. "The aliens are maintaining distance. They sent us about 40 different communication attempts in the last 3 hours. Our AI has translated maybe 30% of their language. They're calling themselves the Kaltheran Empire." "Empire?" Chen raised an eyebrow. "Our star charts showed this region as empty space." "The star charts are 300 years old, Captain," Williams reminded her. "A lot can change in that time." Chen nodded slowly. 300 years. That's how long it had been since Earth last contacted the colony worlds. 3 centuries since humanity split into 2 groups. Those who stayed near Earth and those who pushed outward into the galactic rim. Into the darkness beyond known space. Sarah Chen was born on Nova Terra, a colony world 60 light-years from Earth. She grew up hearing stories about the homeworld. Green skies. No, blue skies. Wait, someone said they were gray. Nobody could quite remember. The data files from Earth's last transmission were corrupted. Images were lost. Only fragments remained. What was clear? Earth achieved faster than light travel 400 years ago. They sent colony ships in every direction. But one group of ships went wrong. They traveled away from the galactic core, out into the empty darkness where stars were rare and planets even rarer. Everyone said those colonists would die. There was nothing out there. But humanity had a talent for surviving where they shouldn't. Those outer colonies found worlds around dim red stars. They built underground cities on frozen moons. They constructed space stations in nebulas and learned to mine gas giants for fuel. Where other species needed perfect Earth-like planets, humans just adapted. And they built ships. Amazing ships. The Indomitable was the result of 300 years of desperate innovation. When you lived in the darkness, when every resource was precious, when help was decades away, you learned to build things that didn't break. You developed technology that worked perfectly the first time because you might not get a second chance. The ship's quantum-locked drive could move through space without creating warp signatures. It slipped between dimensions so smoothly that sensors couldn't detect the transition. The zero-point reactor pulled energy from empty space itself, generating power that would seem impossible to conventional physics. The gravitational shields could bend space-time, making incoming weapons miss without the ship even moving. Chen remembered the day she decided to leave Nova Terra and search for Earth. She was 20 years old, reading old files in the colony archives. She found a message from her great-great-great-grandmother, a simple text file that said, "We're going home to Earth. We'll send for you when we arrive." They never did. Thousands of ships left the colony worlds over the centuries, following ancient star charts back toward Earth's last known position. None returned. Some people said Earth was destroyed. Others claimed the old coordinates were wrong. A few whispered about something more sinister. Chen made it her life's mission to find out the truth. She joined the United Earth Exploration Service, rose through the ranks, and finally took command of the Indomitable. Her orders were simple: find Earth or find out what happened to it. Now, after 2 years of travel, she had reached the sector where Earth should be, and instead of empty space, she found an empire. A thriving civilization of aliens who had never heard of humanity. "Captain, the alien fleet is growing," Williams reported. "I'm counting over 200 ships now. More arriving every minute." Chen watched the tactical display. The alien vessels were impressive, large, powerful, clearly the product of an advanced civilization. But their technology seemed old. Their reactors were fusion-based. Their shields used electromagnetic fields. Their weapons were plasma and kinetic projectiles. It was the technology Earth had 300 years ago. "Lieutenant Park, scan the sector for Earth signature," Chen ordered. "Use the full sensor suite. If our homeworld is here, I want to find it." Park worked at her console, directing the Indomitable's powerful sensors across the region. Minutes passed in silence. Then Park gasped, "Captain, I found something. There's a planet matching Earth's size and composition, but it's cloaked. Somebody wrapped it in an energy field that makes it invisible to normal sensors. I can only detect it because our quantum scanners can see through dimensional barriers." Chen's heart raced. "Show me." The view screen changed. There, half hidden by clouds of exotic energy, was a blue-green planet. Oceans and continents, polar ice caps. The pattern matched the old files perfectly. Earth, humanity's birthplace. But why was it hidden? Who cloaked it? And why could nobody find it for 300 years? "Captain, I'm detecting more anomalies," Park said. "There are structures around Earth, massive structures. They're not human in design. The materials are incredibly advanced. And they're old. Thousands of years old at minimum." "What kind of structures?" Chen asked. "Defense platforms. Hundreds of them. All in standby mode." "Captain, these things could destroy an entire fleet with ease. The energy readings are off the scale." Chen felt cold understanding settle over her. Someone had put Earth in a cage. Someone with technology far beyond humanity or this Kalthuran empire. And those defense platforms were there to keep people out. Or keep humans in. "Captain, the alien fleet is moving," Williams warned. "They're forming a battle line between us and the inner systems." Chen made her decision. "Open a channel. Let's talk to these Kalthurans. Maybe they know what happened here." The communication went out. This time it was in the Kalthuran language. The AI had learned enough to construct basic sentences. "This is Captain Sarah Chen of the United Earth Exploration Service. We mean no harm. We are searching for our homeworld. Have you encountered a planet called Earth?" The response came quickly. A translated voice filled the bridge. "This is Commander Zevix of the Kalthuran Imperial Fleet. We have no record of Earth in our databases. Your species does not exist in Imperial records. State your intentions immediately." Chen smiled grimly. Of course they had no records. Earth had been hidden from the galaxy for who knew how long, but now humanity was back. And they were going to get answers. The Empire's desperate gambit, Emperor Kalth VII, stood in the Imperial War Room and watched 500 warships assemble on the holographic display. It was the largest fleet mobilization in living memory. The cost alone would strain the Imperial treasury for years. But what choice did he have? An unknown species with impossible technology had appeared in his empire. They claimed to be searching for a homeworld that didn't exist in any database. They refused to leave Imperial space, and their single ship could apparently generate more power than a small star. "Your Majesty," Admiral Threen said. Her scales were pale with worry. "The fleet is in position. We have the unknown vessel surrounded. Your orders?" Kalth studied the human ship on the display. The Indomitable, they called it. Even the name was aggressive. Indomitable meant something that could not be defeated, could not be broken. What kind of species chose such a name? "Have we learned anything else about these humans?" Kalth asked. Director Vesh, head of Imperial Intelligence, stepped forward. She was old even by Kalthuran standards. Her psychic presence was weak with age, but her mind remained sharp. "Very little, Your Majesty. Our analysts have been studying their language patterns. Humans appear to be bipedal carbon-based life forms. They likely breathe oxygen and require liquid water. Beyond that, Vesh shook her head. They're completely unknown. It's as if they appeared from nowhere. Species don't appear from nowhere, Kalth said firmly. Where did they come from? They claim to come from the outer rim, Your Majesty. The empty regions beyond colonized space. But that's impossible. There are no habitable planets in that direction. No resources. No reason for any intelligent species to develop there. And yet here they are. Kalth turned to his military advisors. Give me options. Can we destroy them if necessary? Admiral Threen hesitated before answering. Unknown, Your Majesty. We tested their defenses 3 hours ago when Captain Vrex fired on them without authorization. What? Kalth's voice rose. Who ordered that? No one, Your Majesty. Captain Vrex acted independently. He believed the humans were a threat and decided to strike first. He fired his ship's full weapon complement at point-blank range. And, Kalth demanded, every shot missed. Not because the human ship moved. It stayed perfectly still. But our weapons curved around it. As if space itself was bent, our missiles detonated harmlessly. Our plasma bolts dissipated. Our kinetic rounds simply vanished. The human ship never even powered its offensive weapons. Its defensive systems handled everything automatically. The room fell silent. Kalth felt his 3 hearts beating too fast. A defensive system that could stop an entire warship's weapons without effort. What could their offensive weapons do? They could have destroyed Captain Vrex, Kalth said quietly. But they didn't. Why? They sent a message afterward, Vesh said. Would you like to hear it? Kalth nodded. A human voice played through the room's speakers. The universal translator rendered it in Kaltheran, but Kalth could hear the original sounds beneath. They were harsh, predatory sounds, the sounds of a species that evolved hunting other creatures. Stand down. If we wanted you dead, you'd be dead. Simple words, spoken calmly, but they carried absolute confidence. These humans truly believed they could destroy the Imperial fleet anytime they chose. And after seeing their defensive capabilities, Kalth feared they might be right. Director Vesh, Kalth said, you've studied military history. You've read about the ancient conflicts. Have you ever encountered anything like this? Vesh was quiet for a long moment. Then she spoke carefully as if afraid of her own words. Your Majesty, I took the liberty of searching the forbidden archives. The data cores were not supposed to access. The records sealed by Imperial Decree 5,000 years ago. You accessed forbidden data without authorization? Admiral Threen demanded. The situation warrants it, Vesh replied. And what I found? Your Majesty, I believe I know why we have no record of humanity. I believe I know where Earth is. Every eye in the room focused on the old intelligence director. Show me, Kalth ordered. Vesh activated a datapad. An ancient star chart appeared on the room's main display. It was crude by modern standards, created thousands of years before current technology, but it showed the galaxy divided into sectors. Most sectors were labeled with names of ancient civilizations, species long extinct or evolved into something new. But one sector was marked differently. It was labeled simply, Quarantine Zone. This region, Vesh pointed to the marked area, was established by the precursors, the ancient ones who ruled the galaxy before our ancestors even discovered fire. They marked this sector as off-limits. Any ship that entered would be destroyed. No exceptions. I've heard the legends, Kalth said. The precursors disappeared 50,000 years ago. Why would a quarantine zone still matter? Because it's still active, Your Majesty. Vesh pulled up more data. I cross-referenced the humans' description of Earth's location with the quarantine zone coordinates. They match perfectly. Earth is at the center of the zone, and according to these records, the precursors placed defense platforms around it. Why would they quarantine a planet? Admiral Threen asked. The records don't say. They only note that the precursors deemed something on that planet too dangerous to contact the rest of the galaxy. They locked it away. Kalth felt understanding dawn. And 300 years ago, somehow humans escaped the quarantine. They spread to other worlds, but they went in the wrong direction, away from the galaxy. Away from us. That's why we never encountered them. Until now, Vesh said. Now they've come back looking for their homeworld. And they don't know it's quarantined. They don't know what the precursors feared. What did the precursors fear? Kalth asked. The records don't say, Your Majesty, but... Vesh hesitated. I analyzed the human language, their technology, their behavior. Your Majesty, humans are predators. They evolved as hunters. Their eyes face forward for tracking prey. Their bodies are built for endurance. They even have vestigial weapons in their anatomy, teeth designed for tearing meat, nails that once were claws. So they're aggressive, Admiral Threen said. That doesn't explain. You don't understand, Vesh interrupted. We Keltharans evolved as herd prey animals. We survived through cooperation, through psychic unity, through blending in. Every major species in the Empire evolved similarly. We're all originally prey species. We build empires through diplomacy and trade because that's our nature. And humans? Kalth asked, though he already knew the answer. Humans build empires through competition and conflict. They're natural warriors, and the precursors knew that if humans ever reached the stars, Vesh trailed off, they would conquer the galaxy. Kalth finished. The precursors put them in a cage before they could. Alarms suddenly blared through the war room. A technician called out in panic. Your Majesty, new contacts, multiple ships appearing at the edge of Imperial space. They're identical to the first human vessel. The main display updated. One by one, massive energy signatures appeared across a dozen sectors. Each one matched the Indomitable's profile. How many? Kalth demanded. 20 confirmed, Your Majesty. No, 30. They're still appearing, 40, 50. The count kept rising. Humanity hadn't sent one ship to find Earth. They had sent an armada, and suddenly the Emperor understood. Humans weren't here to explore. They were here to bring their people home, and nothing was going to stop them. The truth about Earth, Captain. Sarah Chen walked through the airlock onto the neutral station where she would meet the Kaltharan Emperor face to face. Commander Williams and a security team followed behind her. She was nervous, though she would never admit it. This was first contact, the moment that would define humanity's relationship with the galaxy. The station was old, built by some long-dead civilization. Both sides had agreed to meet here because neither wanted to risk inviting potential enemies to their homeworlds. Chen appreciated the caution. It showed the Kaltharans were intelligent. The meeting room was simple. A large chamber with a round table in the center. On one side stood Emperor Kaltha VII with his advisors. Chen stopped in the doorway and got her first real look at aliens. The Kaltharans were tall, nearly 7 feet, with scaled skin in shades of blue and green. They had 4 eyes arranged around their heads, giving them nearly complete vision. Their bodies were lean, built for running rather than fighting. They moved with the nervous grace of herd animals always ready to flee. And when Kalth looked at Chen, she saw something in all 4 of his eyes that surprised her. Fear. Captain Chen, Kalth said through a translation device. Welcome. Please sit. Chen took a seat across from the Emperor. Up close she could see his hand shaking slightly. He was terrified, but why? The Indomitable hadn't fired a shot. Humanity had gone out of their way to appear peaceful. Then Chen understood. It wasn't what humans had done. It was what they were, Your Majesty, Chen said carefully. I want to assure you that humanity comes in peace. We're only searching for our homeworld. We have no desire for conflict. Your words say peace, Kalth replied. But your appearance says war, Chen blinked. I don't understand. An old Kaltharan female stepped forward. I am Director Vesh. Captain, may I be direct? Please. You are a predator species. Your eyes face forward for tracking prey. Your teeth are designed to tear meat. Your body is built for pursuit and violence. Every instinct we possess tells us to run from you. Chen sat back, stunned. She had never thought about human biology that way. Yes, humans were omnivores. Yes, ancient humans hunted. But modern humanity had moved beyond that. Hadn't they? But looking at the Kaltharans' fearful faces, Chen realized something important. These people evolved as prey animals. Humans evolved as hunters. That fundamental difference shaped everything about their civilizations. We can't change what we are, Chen said quietly, but we can choose how we act. Humanity left Earth 300 years ago. In that time, we built 50 colony worlds. We survived in some of the harshest environments in the galaxy. And we did it without conquering anyone, because there was no one else out there. We learned to work together because we had to. But you built weapons, Admiral Threen said, pointing at the Indomitable visible through the station's windows. That ship is a war vessel. Don't deny it. You're right, Chen admitted. We built warships, but not to attack others. We built them because we were alone in the darkness and we didn't know what might be out there. We built them to defend our families, to protect our colonies, to survive. Kalth leaned forward. Captain, I must ask directly. The Indomitable could destroy my entire fleet, couldn't it? Chen considered lying. Then she decided these people deserved honesty. Yes, probably. Our weapons technology is more advanced than yours. But Your Majesty, we could have destroyed Commander Zevix's patrol when we first arrived. We could have attacked your fleet when it surrounded us. We didn't. That should tell you something about humanity's intentions. It tells me you're confident you'll win any conflict, Threen muttered. It tells you we don't want a conflict at all, Chen corrected. Look, we outnumber your ships in this sector now. If we wanted to invade, we would have done it already. But we didn't come here to conquer. We came home. About that, Vesh said. She activated a holographic display. Captain, how much do you know about Earth's history? Not much, Chen admitted. Our records from Earth are fragmentary. We know humans achieved spaceflight 400 years ago. We know colony ships spread out across the galaxy. We know Earth went silent 300 years ago. That's why we're here. To find out what happened. We believe we know, Vesh said. She showed the ancient star maps, the quarantine zone, the precursor records. As she spoke, Chen felt her blood run cold. You're saying ancient aliens imprisoned humanity on Earth? Chen asked. Quarantined, not imprisoned, Vesh corrected. The precursors were the most advanced civilization in galactic history. 50,000 years ago, they ruled everything. Then they vanished, but their automated systems remained, including defense platforms around Earth. Why would they quarantine humans? Vesh pulled up more data. We can only speculate, but the evidence suggests they feared humanity's potential. Captain, every successful species in the galaxy evolved from prey animals. We survived through cooperation and unity. But humans evolved from predators. You survived through competition and innovation. The precursors apparently ran simulations and determined that if humans reached the stars, they would either destroy themselves or conquer the galaxy. That's ridiculous, Williams protested. We're not monsters. No, Kauth said softly. But you're dangerous in ways we're not. Captain, your people survived in environments where my people would die. You built technology in 300 years that took our empire 10,000 years to develop. You adapt, you overcome, you never give up. Those are terrifying qualities to species like us. Chen wanted to argue, but she saw the truth in his words. Humanity's greatest strength was adaptability. Where other species specialized, humans generalized. They could do a little bit of everything, and they learned fast. So what happened 300 years ago? Chen asked. When we achieved FTL, why did Earth go silent? We believe the precursor platforms activated, Vesh said. When your ancestors left Earth, they triggered a failsafe. The platforms didn't destroy Earth, but they may have disabled its technology, cut off communications, isolated it from the colony worlds. Why not just destroy humanity? Chen demanded. If the precursors thought we were so dangerous. Because, Vesh said gently, the precursors believed in potential. They quarantined humanity to see if you would mature, to see if you would become wise enough to join galactic civilization without destroying it. Chen stood and walked to the window. Earth was out there, somewhere beyond the cloaked barrier, her homeworld, humanity's birthplace, hidden away by ancient aliens who feared what humans might become. What do you want from us? Chen asked, turning back to Kauth. Help, the Emperor said simply. Captain, I'm no fool. If humanity wants to conquer the galaxy, we can't stop you. Your technology is superior. Your people are warriors. But if you truly come in peace, I propose an alliance. The Empire has 10,000 years of knowledge about the precursors. You have the willingness to face their technology directly. Together we might be able to deactivate the quarantine and reach Earth. Why would you help us? Williams asked suspiciously. Because, Yin Kauth said, the alternative is war. And I believe Captain Chen when she says humanity doesn't want that. Plus, if we help you reach Earth, perhaps you'll remember that kindness. Perhaps you'll choose to be our friends rather than our conquerors. Chen looked at her first officer. Williams gave a slight nod. It was risky trusting these aliens. But it was the right thing to do, Your Majesty, Chen said. Humanity accepts your offer. Let's go home together. As they shook hands, each side knowing they had just changed galactic history forever, alarms began blaring throughout the station. A technician burst into the room. Your Majesty, Captain. The precursor platforms around Earth are activating. All of them. And they're broadcasting a message. On every screen, in perfect English and perfect Caltheran, the same words appeared. Quarantine breach detected. Judgment protocol initiated. Humanity will now be evaluated. Failure will result in extinction. The combined human Caltheran fleet arrived at Earth's coordinates 12 hours later. Captain Sarah Chen stood on the bridge of the Indomitable and stared at her homeworld for the first time in her life. Earth was beautiful. Blue oceans covered most of the surface. Green and brown continents scattered between them. White clouds swirled in atmospheric patterns. Ice caps gleamed at the poles. This was where humanity began, where her ancestors lived and died for hundreds of thousands of years before they ever looked at the stars. But Earth was surrounded by nightmares. The precursor defense platforms floated in orbit like ancient gods of war. Each one was the size of a city, built from materials that shouldn't exist according to modern physics. They glowed with power that made the Indomitable's reactor look like a candle next to a sun. There were hundreds of them, all active, all waiting, and they were building something. "Captain, the platforms are pulling asteroids from the outer system," Lieutenant Park reported. "They're constructing something massive. Some kind of weapon." "How massive?" Chen asked. "Planetary scale, Captain. If they finish it, they could destroy Earth or—" Park's voice trembled. "They could make the sun go supernova. Kill everything in this entire system." Emperor Kalth's face appeared on the communications screen. He was aboard his flagship, positioned near the human fleet. "Captain Chen, my scientists confirm your readings. We have approximately 70 hours before that weapon activates." "What do we do?" Chen studied the tactical display. The platform's shields were impenetrable. Their weapons could destroy entire fleets. Even with humanity's advanced technology, a direct attack would be suicide. Worse, it might be exactly what the precursors wanted, a violent response that proved humans were too dangerous to live. "We're being tested," Chen said aloud. "The precursors want to see how we react to an impossible situation." "Then the obvious answer is to destroy the platforms," Admiral Threen suggested. "Demonstrate human power." "No," Director Vesh said. She had insisted on accompanying the Emperor. "That's what they expect. Predator species solve problems through violence. If humanity destroys the platforms, they prove the precursors were right to quarantine them. But if we do nothing, Earth dies," Commander Williams protested. Chen turned to her crew. "Park, can you analyze the platform's construction patterns? There must be something in their design that tells us what the precursors wanted." Park worked frantically at her console. Minutes passed in tense silence. Then she gasped. "Captain, the platforms aren't just defense systems. They're also recording devices. They've been observing Earth for 50,000 years, recording everything. Every war, every peace treaty, every advancement, every failure. It's all stored in their databanks. They were studying us," Chen realized, "learning about humanity, waiting to see if we'd change." "But change into what?" Williams asked. Chen thought back to the ancient precursor records Director Vesh had shown them. The precursors ran simulations of humanity's future. In most scenarios, humans either destroyed themselves or conquered the galaxy through violence. But there must have been other scenarios, possibilities the precursors hoped for but didn't expect. "Computer," Chen ordered. "Access all records of human history since the colony ships left Earth 300 years ago. Cultural development, social changes, conflicts, and resolutions. Compile a comprehensive report." The ship's AI worked faster than any biological mind. Within seconds, data streamed across Chen's display. She read with growing understanding. When humanity left Earth, they were fractured. Dozens of nations, hundreds of cultures, constant competition and conflict. But in the darkness of space, something changed. The colony worlds had to cooperate to survive. Resources were too limited for war. Distances were too great for old hatreds to matter. Slowly, generation by generation, humanity evolved. Not biologically, but socially. They learned that their predatory instincts could be directed at problems instead of people. They channeled their competitive nature into science and exploration rather than war. They remained human, remained capable of violence when necessary, but they chose peace when possible. "I know what to do," Chen announced, "but it's risky." "Your Majesty, are you willing to trust me?" Kalth's image flickered on screen. "Captain, I've seen what happens when prey species run from problems. It doesn't work. Sometimes you need predators. Sometimes you need humans." "Do what you must," Chen nodded. She opened a channel to every ship in the fleet, both human and Kaltheran. "All vessels, stand down all weapon systems. Deactivate shields. Present yourselves as defenseless before the precursor platforms." "Captain, that's suicide," Williams protested. "That's trust," Chen corrected. "Follow my orders. One by one, the ships powered down their defenses. Hundreds of vessels representing two civilizations, making themselves completely vulnerable. The precursor platforms did not fire. They simply watched. Chen then opened a direct channel to the platforms. She spoke in English, her native language the language of Earth. Precursor AI, I am Captain Sarah Chen of the United Earth Exploration Service. I'm speaking for humanity. You quarantined us because you feared what we might become. You ran simulations that showed us destroying ourselves or conquering the galaxy. I can't tell you those simulations were wrong. Humans are capable of terrible violence. She paused, choosing her next words carefully. But we're also capable of change. 300 years ago, we left Earth as divided nations. We competed, we fought, we struggled against each other. But in the darkness beyond known space, we learned something. We learned that survival requires cooperation. We learned that strength without wisdom leads to destruction. We learned that being a predator doesn't mean being a monster. Chen pulled up the compiled history file. I'm transmitting our records. 300 years of human development. Yes, we still have conflicts. Yes, we still struggle with our nature. But look at what we've achieved. We built 50 thriving colonies without conquering anyone. We developed advanced technology without destroying our worlds. We encountered the Caltheran Empire, and instead of attacking, we sought understanding. On the view screen, Emperor Calth appeared beside her transmission. I am Emperor Calth VII of the Caltheran Empire. My people evolved as prey. We fear predators by instinct. When humans arrived, every instinct told us to flee or fight. But we chose to listen instead. And what we learned is that humanity has grown beyond your simulations. They are still strong, still dangerous, still capable of violence, but they are also wise enough to choose peace. Director Vesh added her voice. Precursor AI, you quarantined humanity to give them time to mature, to see if they could evolve beyond their base nature. I have studied their history. I have met their leaders. I have seen their choices. Humanity has passed your test. Not perfectly, but no species is perfect. They deserve to join the galactic community. Silence filled the void of space. The precursor platforms continued building their weapon. The timer counted down. 60 hours, 59, 58, then all at once every platform stopped moving. A voice echoed across every communication channel. It was ancient beyond measure, speaking in a language that the universal translators struggled to interpret. But the meaning came through clearly. Humanity evaluated, analysis complete. Chen held her breath. 300 Earth years of data. Reviewed. Social development assessed. First contact behavior. Analyzed. Capacity for cooperation. Confirmed. Capacity for restraint confirmed. Wisdom. Growth detected. The weapon the platforms had been building suddenly disassembled. The asteroids drifted back to their original orbits. The platforms themselves began powering down. Judgment. Approved. Humanity has demonstrated sufficient maturity to join galactic civilization. Quarantine protocols deactivated. Earth communications restored. Precursor technology database. Transferred as gift to humanity and Caltheran Empire. The cloaking field around Earth disappeared. For the first time in 300 years, humanity's homeworld was visible to the galaxy, and from Earth's surface, millions of transmissions suddenly burst outward. Radio, laser, quantum signals. 3 centuries of messages that had been blocked by the precursor quarantine. Messages from Earth calling out to their lost colonies, searching for their children among the stars. Chen felt tears rolling down her face. We're home, she whispered. Throughout the fleet, humans and Caltherans celebrated together. The crisis was over. Humanity had passed judgment. Earth was free. Emperor Calth's image appeared on Chen's screen. He was smiling, a gesture humans had taught him. Captain Chen, on behalf of the Caltheran Empire, I formally offer humanity full partnership in galactic civilization, not as subjects, not as threats, but as equals. We accept, Your Majesty, Chen replied, with one condition. Name it. The Empire becomes something new, not a hierarchy where one species dominates, but a federation where all species work together, humanity and Caltherans together, building something better than either could alone. Calth considered for a moment. Then he nodded. Agreed. The Terran-Caltheran Alliance. A new beginning for the galaxy. Chen looked at Earth on her view screen, the planet where humanity was born, the planet where her ancestors learned to hunt, to build tools, to look at the stars and wonder what lay beyond. That predatory curiosity, that endless drive to explore and overcome had nearly doomed humanity, but combined with wisdom, with compassion, with the willingness to cooperate, it became humanity's greatest strength. "Computer," Chen ordered, "send a message to Earth. Tell them their children are coming home. Tell them we've made friends among the stars. Tell them the age of quarantine is over. The age of humanity has begun." As the message raced toward Earth at the speed of light, Chen smiled. The galaxy would never be the same. Humanity had arrived, not as conquerors, not as victims, but as partners in civilization's grand adventure, and the stars themselves seemed to shine brighter in celebration.